Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Keith's Hot Takes. We took a year off and got myself together, and kind of was busy with school, and my schedule really didn't let me do a season two last year, so took a year off, and now this year, I have since graduated from Forsyth Tech, spent 2.5 years out of high school there, and now I'm at Winston State trying to get my bachelor's degree in mass communications, and hopefully I can, do my YouTube show. I don't know if I'll be able to do it as a living, but maybe as a side job. And I want to do a sports radio show when I finish, and I should be finished there in 2021 or 2022. Excuse me, early 2022. All right, so let's get to today's show. Let's not waste any time. So to start out, basically in season two, I'm really just gonna hone in on focusing on football and basically predict all 16 NFL games every week, and then I'm going to predict some of the top college football games for the week. And a new thing I'm doing this semester, thinking about school, I'm going to predict some of the top local high school games for the week. So that's what I'll be doing on the show every week. It'll either be on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday when I, release the episode. And it just depends on how my schedule allows me to, record the show for that day. And I try to be as brief as possible with the stuff I have to talk about. Today's show may be a little longer because I'm gonna be predicting the division, NFL division winners. My teleprompter would be working. I'm gonna be predicting the NFL division winners. I'm gonna give you my Super Bowl prediction. It may shock some people, may have some blowback on it. I'm gonna be predicting all 16 NFL games for Week One. I'm gonna predict some of the top college football games for Week Two, and I'm gonna predict some of the top local games that'll be going on this weekend. So let's jump right into it, and I'll start by giving you my NFL division winners who I have winning each division. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC South. I think that the winner of that division will win probably 9 games, and they'll beat up on each other because all the teams in that division, none of them are that good, and they'll get to host a playoff game because they win the division. But yeah, Jacksonville has the most complete team in that division. The Texans did, trade away a lot of draft picks to try to improve their team, but I still think they have too many questions they need to answer. So I'm going with Jacksonville to win the AFC South. Moving on, I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West for the simple fact I think they're going to go 14-2, 15-1, and I just think they're going to steamroll a lot of teams. That team is loaded offensively, and if the defense can just stop the opposing team just a little bit, I think they'll be just fine, and I think they'll breeze towards the division championship. And I think the Chargers will be right behind them at either 13-3, 12-4. That them two are just going to be battling for that division. I don't see the Raiders and Broncos being a factor, but hey, they may surprise us. Moving on to the AFC North, this is another tough division. I think the Steelers are going to win this division. I think with the AB cloud and all that drama away from this team, I think they're going to be really focused to, prove to people that they can, you know, be, the top team in that division again. And maybe, hopefully, they can get past the Patriots this year in the playoffs if they, face them again in the playoffs. But I definitely have them winning a stacked and loaded AFC North. I think the Browns and Ravens, I think they'll definitely be competing. And that's another division where the teams are going to beat up on each other. But yeah, I just have the Steelers. I think they're the most complete team, especially on offense. They're loaded. They have a ton of weapons. So the Steelers will win the AFC North in my eyes. The Patriots are going to win the AFC East for I think it's like 11 straight years this will be. Um, because none of the other teams in that division, I don't see them being a threat to New England. So yeah, it's just going to be another year where the AFC East is just horrible and they won't be able to compete with New England. All right, so let's move to the NFC. I have the Rams winning the West. I think them in Seattle, I think that'll be really competitive with those two. And I think the 49ers and Cardinals, they're a ways away from competing for that division again. So I have the Rams winning that division. I think they're loaded on offense. They get Cooper Kupp back. And, they drafted Darrell Henderson. I think he'll be able to help take the load off Tar Gurley. And, yeah, I just think that team's the most complete team in that division. So that's what I have winning the NFC West, excuse me. I have the Bears, even though they have the toughest schedule in the league this year. I still have them as winning that division. I think they're the best overall team in that division. And I think Minnesota could challenge them for that title. But I just think the Bears are the most complete team in that division. And minus the toughest schedule in the league, I think they're still going to find a way to win that division. They have the best defense in that division, and their offense under Matt Nagy, I think that's how you say his name, I think is just going to, prevail in that division. So that's what I have winning the NFC North. I have my Dallas Cowboys winning the NFC East. I think the Eagles and the Cowboys are just going to be battling. I think it'll be two great games when they play each other. But I trust the Cowboys defense better than the Eagles defense. The Eagles have the best front seven in that division. On offense, Carson Wentz has a bunch of toys to play with. But I give the Cowboys the edge in this division. The Saints, I think they'll be on a revenge tour this year, and I think that they will win the NFC South, excuse me, because Atlanta, they have too many question marks. The Panthers, you don't know if Cam Newton's shoulder is going to hold up for a full season. So I think this will be another one of those divisions where it's really close at the top. But I see the Saints, especially since last year they got robbed from going to the Super Bowl. I think they will be very, very motivated to get back to the NFC Championship and try to win it this year. And hopefully the refs don't cheat them out of another Super Bowl chance. And I have the Saints coming out of the NFC, and I have the Chiefs coming out the AFC. And I think that game, if I hope we really get it, because I think both those offenses will be flying up and down the field, and I think Drew Brees and the Saints will win this over the Chiefs. But don't worry, Chiefs fans. Patrick Mahomes is going to get you to plenty of Super Bowls in his career, because I don't see many teams competing with the Chiefs as long as they can keep that team together, especially that offense. But I just think the Saints, if they get back to the Super Bowl, I think they'll be very motivated to win it for Drew Brees, and that way, I don't know, he may ride off into the sunset, or he may come back and maybe want to try to repeat. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. For my college football playoffs, I have Clemson playing Ohio State, and I have Alabama playing Oklahoma. And I think if Oklahoma and Alabama play, I think it'll be really interesting to see how Jalen Hurts goes up against that Alabama defense. But I have Alabama and Clemson winning those two matchups, and we get Clemson and Alabama again. I know, like, most people are probably tired of seeing that game, but those are just the two most complete teams, and I see both of those teams prevailing in close matchups. And this is a tough one. Alabama or Clemson. I know Nick Saban will be very motivated to get payback after the way they got manhandled last year. I know I had predicted Alabama a couple weeks ago, but this is so tough. I'm gonna go with Alabama because they have 4 first-round draft picks on offense, and Tua, he's just touchdown machine, and he puts up ridiculous numbers, and he's usually out of there by the fourth quarter. So I think Alabama finds a way to win a close game. And another factor, I trust their defense way more than Clemson's defense, especially on the back end. Clemson is a little shaky back there, so yeah, I think Alabama will win a close game. All right, so here we go. Let's get to the Week 1 games, and we started off with the Packers and Bears. I think, and this game will be on Thursday night. This will be the kickoff game to the 100th season of the NFL. I think the Bears at home, that place will be rocking. I think that defense is going to give Aaron Rodgers fits, excuse me, and I think the Bears will win a close one, probably like 24-17 or something like that. It'll be a low scoring game, even though the Packers defense is not that great. I think since it's a division game, I think they'll get up for playing the Bears, and it'll be a 24-17 type of game. All right, next we have the Tennessee Titans visiting the Cleveland Browns, 1 o'clock on CBS. I have the Browns winning. That offense is going to be fun to watch, and they're probably going to put up a lot of points. And that defense is going to stop a very run-heavy offense of the Tennessee Titans. So I see the Browns prevailing at home. They'll get the season kicked off with a victory. That place will be rocking. Excuse me. Cleveland has a lot of hype behind them, and their city has been wanting a winning football team for a long time. So this could be the year for that. Next we have the Baltimore Ravens visiting the Miami Dolphins. I think this was one of the easiest games to pick. Ooh, excuse me. Over the weekend, the Dolphins kind of really showed that they're tanking. They traded away some of their best players to get draft picks, and they're basically just going to rebuild. But they're not saying that. Their coach said they're still going to be competing. No, you're not. I think the Ravens, they may win this like 35-0 or something like that. I think that defense is just going to give Fitzpatrick fits, and his offensive line isn't that good, and he lost his deep threat in Kenny Stills. So this one could get ugly fast, and that defense for the Ravens, I think, is just gonna they're just gonna give the Dolphins headaches, and it could be ugly for Miami fans. So if you're a Miami fan, just prepare for a long day. All right. Sorry about that. Next we have the Atlanta Falcons visiting the Minnesota Vikings. This was a toss up. I think this will be a great game. I think it'll be high scoring, maybe a 35-28 type of game. Um, since the Vikings are at home, I gave them the edge on this one. And yeah, I think this would probably be one of the best 1 o'clock games to look at if you have the Sunday ticket. Because around here, I think we'll get the Rams and Panthers. So if you have the Sunday ticket, or if you can find a nice bar or something to watch, I think that would be the best 1 o'clock game. All right. Next we have the Buffalo Bills visiting the New York Jets. Another division game in Week 1. I gave this one to the Jets. They're at home. I think Sam Darnold, he has some new weapons on offense, and yeah, they're just a better team, and they're at home. And I think Le'Veon Bell, he has something to prove. So I see the Jets winning this one. Next we have why did it just get dark all of a sudden? All right, there we go. Next we have the Washington Redskins visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. I gave the Eagles this game. They're loaded on defense. They're loaded on offense. Carson Wentz, he has weapons for days on offense, and I think they're just a better team. And yeah, this is the division game, so it probably won't be a blowout or anything, because division games are always tough. So the Eagles will win this one. They're at home. And next we have the Carolina Panthers and the Rams. The Rams are going to Charlotte. They're going to have to get used to that Eastern time zone, playing early at 1 o'clock. It will be 10 a.m. out there on the West Coast. So this one will be tough for them if getting adjusted to the time zone, but I have them winning this game and beating the Panthers in their opener. Just a simple fact, they're a more complete team. They're the better team, and I think that will play out in this game. Next, we have we have the Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville. I think that will be the 1 o'clock game that we'll get on CBS, and this will be a great game. It should be. I think it'll be good for Mahomes and that offense to go up against a great defense like Jacksonville, who kind of, I don't know what happened last year. They just fell to pieces. So I have the Chiefs winning this game. It'll be a close game. And I think it'll be a good test for Mahomes to go up against a secondary like this. Jalen Ramsey, he said he's going to follow Tyreek Hill. the whole game. I don't think that's a good idea, but he's their best corner and he wants to be paid the big bucks, so he probably want to prove something. All right, let's get to the 4 o'clock games. We have the Colts at the Los Angeles Ram. I mean, the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm still getting used to calling them the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they should still be in San Diego, but that's another topic for another day. I have the Chargers winning this game. I think this will be a great game. I think the Colts they'll want to prove something that they can still be good without Andrew Luck. But I think the Chargers are just the better team and they're playing at home. So yeah, that's who I see winning this game. All right, we have the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Seattle Seahawks. I have the Seahawks winning. I think, yeah, they're the better team, and I don't think the Bengals are going to be that good this year. They'll have a top 5 draft pick, and yeah, I think Zach Taylor. I can't wait to see what his offense is like. He's under the Sean McVay coaching tree, so I think that offense will be fun to watch and all that. But I just don't see them being the Seattle Seahawks. And Seattle, that's a tough place to win, and I know Seattle wants to get off to a good start. So next we have America's Game of the Week, the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. I really don't know how this is the game of the week, but every year we open up with the Giants on Fox at 4:25. We're 9-1, and well, the Cowboys are. Let me not say we are. The Cowboys are 9-1 in season opening games against the Giants. The only loss being a few years ago when Terrence Williams did not get out of bounds. He tried to get a few extra yards and the clock ran out on the Cowboys, and they lost 20-19 to the Giants. That was Dak Prescott's rookie season, and the Giants did beat the Cowboys twice that year. But I just have the Cowboys winning this game. Overall, they're the better team. They're playing at home, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they want to get off to a good start. And the Giants, they have a lot of question marks. So I trust the Cowboys more in this division game, and I think all these division games, week 1, I think they'll be very close and competitive. And, you can never count anybody out, especially a division rival like the Giants. So I see the Cowboys winning this one, even though it should be a close game. Can't wait to watch Saquon. And hopefully the Cowboys have Zeke. Still waiting on the news to drop on that. But let's move on to the Lions and Cardinals. I have the Cardinals winning this game. I just think Kyler Murray is going to find a way to win this game for his team. And I know they're not good at all, but I think this is one of those games you got to win because you're not going to win many. So you got to win the ones you can. And the Detroit Lions, they're not that good. So I think this is one the Cardinals should win. Next, we have the 49ers at the San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a toss-up. The 49ers are way much better than the Buccaneers, and I think they could sneak in to get that 6th seed as a wild card. So I think this is, if you want to be a playoff contender, this is one you got to win against a Tampa Bay team who is not that good. So I think they need to handle business here and beat the Buccaneers. Next, we have the Sunday night game, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the New England Patriots. I took the Patriots in this one because the Patriots have had the Steelers' number lately, and I just think Belichick is just going to find a way for this team to, beat the Steelers again. Even though the Steelers have the better offense to me. Big Ben has more weapons to throw to, but I just think the Patriots find a way to win this game. So moving to the Monday night games, as you guys know, well, if you don't, every year, for as far as I can remember, ESPN have 2 games on the opening weekend of NFL season. So this year we got the Houston Texans at New Orleans Saints at 7:10, and then at 10:20 we have the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. It's their last year in Oakland, I think, before they move to Vegas. So I have the New Orleans Saints winning that first game. They're the more complete team, and Houston Texans, they still have a lot of question marks they need to answer. And I have the Oakland Raiders winning the 10-20 game. They're at home, and I just think they'll find a way to beat the Broncos. That should be a good game. The Broncos and the Raiders, I think that's a division game, and most times those are pretty close. So we should get two good games, I hope. And yeah, let's move on to the top college games for the upcoming weekend. First, we have Marshall at Boise State. This is a Friday night game, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. Yes, ESPN2. I think Boise State, coming off that huge comeback victory against Florida State. I think they'll be riding high and they'll have the momentum, and I think they'll find a way to beat a very good Marshall team at home. Next, we have a 3:30 game between Texas A&M. They go to Death Valley to play Clemson, and I think this will be another good game. But I think Clemson, because they're at home, and I think they'll find a way to beat Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M will be able to push Clemson a little bit, but Clemson's at home, and yeah, this team is very good. So I think Clemson will win that one at home in Death Valley. Next, we have Nebraska at Colorado. Um, I picked Colorado because they're at home, and this is a old Big 12 rivalry game, so that should be a great game. I think Colorado will win because they're at home, and they really impressed me last week against Colorado State, and so yeah. Next, we have Florida State and UNL Monroe. I wasn't confident in picking Florida State, but I think that they will. I hope win this game because if they don't, Willie Taggart may not have a job Monday morning. So yeah, they definitely need to win this one for their coach, or he may be getting fired before week 3. Next, we have North Carolina A&T and Duke. I picked North Carolina A&T. This is my upset pick of the week. Duke is not very good, and I think A&T has a great chance in beating them. So, if you want to, bet a little money on A&T, I would. They're very good, and I think they could upset Duke. Next, we have BYU and Tennessee. I picked BYU because if Tennessee can beat Georgia State, who only won 2 games last year, I shouldn't be very confident in them beating a much better BYU team. So, yeah, that explains that. I have LSU and Texas. It's in Austin, but LSU has a better team. Texas has some questions at running back that they need to address, so I just trust LSU better. And lastly, I have Miami over North Carolina, and I have Miami at North Carolina. It's going to be a sellout. I think North Carolina wins that game. Mac is back, and this team, I think it'll be good for them to get off to a 2-0 start before they have to come to Wake Forest next week for a Friday kickoff at 6 o'clock. I don't know why they're playing so early, but yeah, I think it'd be good for North Carolina to get off to a 2-0 start before they have to come to Winston and play Wake Forest next weekend. Okay, moving on to the top high school games as we close out here in the final minute. I have Parkland at Glenn. Glenn is opening up their new stadium, but I think Parkland is a better team, and Glenn did not score any points last week, and you need to win. You need to score points to win games. So, yeah. Next, we have East Forsyth and Mount Tabor. This will probably be the game of the week in the area. I have East Forsyth over Mount Tabor. Mount Tabor has not scored a touchdown on offense yet. That is not a good sign when you're getting ready to play a top 5 team in the state. So I hope they can figure out how to score some points on offense before they play East Forsyth Friday. Because if they don't, this could be 42-0 or 49-0. But Tabor has a really good defense, so I think they need to rely on that and try to keep this low scoring as possible. All right, quickly, I have Watauga at Reagan. I have Watauga. They're always a powerhouse, and they just run that. I think they run like a wing tee or something like that. They run that very well, and I think they'll win this game. Lastly, I have North Meck versus West Forsyth. I have West Forsyth winning this game. They are loaded this year, and yeah, I just think West Forsyth's a better team. So that was it for today's show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and hopefully you'll come back for another episode next week. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and tell me if there's something else you want me to talk about on the show next week. Just let me know, and I'll touch on it for you. And yeah, just like I said, like, subscribe, comment, and all that, and run my views and subscribers up, and so we can keep this thing going. All right, y'all have a great day.